Welcome back to another Punishing Grey Raven video, and today what I'm going to be talking about is which S character should you pick from the free S rank that the devs gives you, which is what you would receive from the mail, which when I open the mail here, you would see this is where you could get your S rank construct pick. So which should you pick? There's 5 of them. It's confusing. You're new to the game, which you should pick. And you've seen a ton of videos talking about which you should pick this, you should pick that, and you still haven't decided which to pick because you don't know what each of them does. Today, I'm gonna solve your confusion. I'm gonna give you my opinion. My opinion is not the best. You could watch a lot more other videos that teach you how to pick the right one, but I don't think it's the right one for you. It might be the right one for them because they have your plans on how they're gonna play the game, but I'm here to provide you a different perspective because I'm coming from a perspective where I only plan to play my account as like a much more like F2P wise. It's not gonna be completely F2P. I'm still gonna pay for a monthly pass because it's actually super worth it. If you guys wanna know if it's worth it to purchase a monthly pass, I would do another video talking about that later. So today we're going to be talking about which should you pick. Now, in order to know which one should you pick, you first have to understand what they do first. Oh, you could also go for the other option. Think with your lower body. Which one is the handsomest or the sexiest? Just pick it. It's really up to you. This is your game. You can do whatever you like. If you like the character, she looks sexy, or this Lee guy looks super handsome, you know, super chat, you just want to pick it, go ahead. I'm not going to stop you. This is your choice. But if you want to go with my option, which I'm going to give you a much more details of what they do, so it will help you to progress in the game, so you won't have to deal with picking a support as character trying to clear story mode. Although it's actually really good because Leaf actually provides a lot of healing that you would need in the early game. So first we're gonna take a look at what type of these constructs are. You got 3 types of constructs. You have attacker, which is DPS, you have tanks, it's what it says it is, and you have a support, which is a healer. So that's all you need to know. He's a DPS, so it would be very reasonable to pick him first because we always go for DPS first, and as soon as you have more than enough DPS characters, now you could go for tanks or support to support your DPS to help them to deal more damage, because tank actually could apply debuffs to enemy to help your DPS to deal more damage. Even a support, their main role is healing, but their secondary role is also applying debuffs to enemy to make your DPS deal more damage than usual. First one, DPS. And the second DPS is... What's her name? Karenina. She's a attacker as well, a DPS as well, but she's not physical damage anymore. She only does 30% physical damage, but majority of the times she would be dealing fire damage. There's different elements damage in the game. You would have to follow whatever the bosses that you're going to be fighting. You have to take a look at their weaknesses and their strength. There will be bosses that has like high fire damage resistance. Then you shouldn't approach the boss with Karenina because you would do absolutely like no damage to the boss because they have insane fire resistance. You would be wasting your points when you would just not gonna do well. It's a very torturing process, so be sure to know what kind of characters do what damage, and you would ease through the game easily. So the third character is Kamui, which is what everyone has been saying. Just pick Kamui from your S construct pick. You just pick Kamui and you will be fine. I'm not sure about that because there isn't any dark damage characters in the game yet, and the first dark damage characters that is gonna be released is, if I'm not wrong, actually like 11 months ahead from here. So why would you pick him this early? You could get him later in the game from pulling banners. You will get specific banners for each S constructs. They would come back doing a rerun, so you could pick the banner that you like or the banner that you need to pull for. So that's why I said you shouldn't just listen to whatever all those YouTubers telling you to pick. Yes, their decision might be right, but the decision is right for their accounts. They plan to have like different characters. Like what What if you're not gonna pull the dark damage DPS? Then what's the point of having Kamui on your team? You're not gonna pick him to support your physical damage DPS because it doesn't work that way. Your physical damage DPS support has, like, maybe you could use Leaf. Tank, you could choose something else, but it's definitely not gonna work the best with physical damage or fire damage. It's gonna work the best with a dark damage DPS. So I would say, if you're considering to pull the dark damage DPS, planning like for so long, I don't even know if you could play this game for this long, but you get my point. And the fourth character we have, Liv. Pretty simple. She's a healer. She could heal your allies. She could reduce the enemy attack damage so they would do less damage to your DPS, so you could have much more room to make a little bit more mistakes. It won't be that hard. That enemy is literally one-shotting you. So this is what Liv does. She's a support and very simple to understand. You don't want to use a support to clear the story mode because you need a DPS to do enough damage to the enemy so you can clear the stage. The last one is Nanami. She's a tank and she's a fire tank. This is what I said. If you pick Kamui and when you decide to play, let's say if you decide to play fire damage, but you've already picked Kamui as your S chosen, now you have a dark damage support with a Karenina fire damage DPS. Those two doesn't work that well. Yes, Kamui is a tank, but he's a dark damage tank. All he is gonna do is reduce dark damage resistance. So it's pointless for Karenina because Karenina does fire damage. So you want to pick Nanami from here if you decide to go with fire damage DPS. So that is why I said, like, you shouldn't just go ahead and listen to whatever they said. You want to pick this, you want to pick that, that's the best for you. It's the best for their accounts. They know what they're doing. You don't know what you're doing. So think before you act. Alright, what I'm gonna say is I'm not gonna pick any of them for now because I know that if I pick Lee as a DPS, it's pointless. It's pointless because I plan to pull Alpha. Lee you should pick unless you do not plan to pull the next banner, that S banner that is going to roll out soon in August or September, which is going to be a top tier physical damage DPS, which you would have heard it already. She's called Alpha. She's another version of Lucia. She deals physical damage 100%, and even after like a year and a half, she is still one of the top tier. So no one can replace her yet, even after a year and a half. So Lee, if you don't plan to pull Alpha, maybe you could go for Lee. But if you plan to pull Alpha, I wouldn't recommend you to pick Lee anymore because you don't need two same characters that does the same shit. You want different characters that does different types of damage. Let's say if you plan to pull for Alpha and you want to have a secondary DPS, or you want a second DPS that does something else besides physical damage. Let's say if you're fighting a Pain Cage or a Warzone, I forgot, and the enemy has high physical damage endurance or high physical damage resistance. You cannot approach it with Alpha. You have to approach it with a character that does a different damage, which is, I would say, Karenina here. The only DPS that does a different damage besides physical damage. She would deal more fire damage, so you would have higher scores, or you would do more damage to the bosses with Karenina. But here's the thing, if you plan to pull Alpha, you're gonna need support. Liv is the best support here, the only S tier healer. Even after a year and a half in a CN server, she's still the only S tier healer. She's not bad, but I personally don't think it's necessary because you're gonna have chances when you're pulling Alpha. You're definitely gonna get this one, maybe, but you would have like a very high chances of pulling a version of Leaf. An A version of Leaf deals lightning damage, but their main job is to heal you. So I think this A Liv is more than enough to heal your physical damage team, which is the Alpha. I don't think an S tier Liv is necessary at this point. So that's my opinion. It's up to you. If you like the S tier Liv, just pick whatever you want if you want it. But I'm just providing my opinion here. all of these opinions about picking an X character is useless if you're a whale. If you have a shit ton of money to put into this game, to burn, then ignore all my advice. Pick whatever you want, because it doesn't matter. You could get 100 of those. And that's my opinion about these 5 characters. And you should take my opinion as a grain of salt, because my accounts, what does the best for my accounts doesn't mean it does the best for your account. It really depends on you. If you really like a certain character, just pick it. In the end of the day, it's a game. The main goal is to have fun. If you have fun, you're already winning. It doesn't matter if you can't clear this stage or that stage. If you're having fun, then why worry about any other stuff? So, thanks for watching. If you find this helpful, be sure to give me a like, hopefully. If you want to see more Punishing Grey Raven videos from me, I will be posting more in future. Be sure to subscribe and stay tuned, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.